What happens to the Suicide Squad when they go off book? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites so that I can read them dramatically back to you before the Suicide Squad recruits me, puts a collar on me, and makes my head blow up. All alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems and keep myself out of Belle Reve, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This continues the story of the Suicide Squad that we started. When we last left off, Amanda Waller was forced to run with the Suicide Squad in the field. In Rio de Janeiro, Boomerang and Deadshot look into a room looking into getting into a new type of business. The drug business. The deal seems to be going very well, so Boomerang figures it's time to wrap things up. The only thing left to do before closing the deal is see the product. The dealer is unsure as to why he would want to see it, but as he begins to get suspicious, Parasite comes crashing through the wall telling everyone, "Sorry, the meeting's over." Harley comes following behind, and then Deadshot and Boomerang run behind Parasite asking, "What took so long? I had to listen to Boomerang talk for half an hour." The dealers begin to open fire, and Boomerang stumbles out of the room and takes cover with Amanda Waller. Amanda asks what the hell went on, and Boomerang says that he thought that they would bring some drugs to the deal. They always do that on TV. These drugs are a bit different though. Other than just giving a person a normal high, they also get a random superpower. More thugs begin to show up, and Amanda calls for everyone to regroup. But the question comes up, where the hell is Deadshot? A moment later, Deadshot comes flying in over the bar trying to get to cover. But as he gets ready to take aim, the pain in his arm comes back, forcing him to sit down. Amanda jumps over asking what the hell is wrong with him, and Deadshot tells her it's his arm. He's been taking these painkillers, so he should be fine. Amanda tells him that he's useless without his aim, so you better suck it up because she has no time for excuses today. If you're finding the situation a bit odd, if you remember last time when we ended, Amanda Waller had been placed onto the Suicide Squad to go on missions with them. So now, on their new mission, Amanda Waller is with them. Parasite begins to make his way back into the club, and all of the thugs begin opening fire with their powers at him. Parasite grabs a group of men and he begins to charge himself up with all of the energy that they are putting off. And once he's fully charged, he lets out a massive explosion. The blast is so powerful that it sends people shooting out into the streets, two of which are Harley Quinn and Amanda Waller. Amanda looks at the ground and notices the pills, and then she sees Harley putting her arms up, and the two of them find themselves surrounded by the police. The officer tells them not to flee, and then he's hit in the back of the head by a rock, and in the crowd, Boomerang shouts, "Power to the people!" And then others begin to join in and soon a riot breaks out. Once Amanda Waller and the others get some cover, she checks in with Deadshot to find out where the drug boss ran off to. And then she tells them to stay there. She's gonna go find them. As Amanda begins to get back up, she looks at a truck and notices the badge on it shows the product of the Pearl Group. Deadshot radios back that the boss ran out back, and Amanda tells him to just hang back and keep an eye on Parasite. She then heads out around the building, cutting the man off, telling him to freeze. He tells her, "Please, we can work out a deal." And Amanda doesn't respond and begins to look at his gun. The tag on the gun says Mars System, and the man asks, hello, what are you?" And she shoots him. And then she begins to call back up to Bonnie, back at Belle Reve. She asks Bonnie to look up some companies for her. Mars System, Clear Pharmaceuticals, and the Pearl Group. After some research, Bonnie tells her that these are all three companies owned by the Cavalry Group, also known as the Corvus Group. Amanda realizes that this was the company running the Lazarus Pit refinery all the way back in the Middle East, and she says that she's going to have to go silent for a while, and tells Bonnie that they never had this conversation. But before Bonnie can tell her to wait, the comms go silent. Bonnie runs over to find Vic and explains what's happening, stating that Amanda has gone rogue. The two of them head into the monitoring room, and Bonnie begins to ask what are they gonna do now, and Vic tells her because Amanda doesn't have a bomb in her neck because she's technically not a prisoner, they'll just have to find her, and he knows just how to do it. He looks down at the control panel that activates the bombs, and he presses terminate all. Back in Rio de Janeiro, Amanda begins to gather up the rest of the squad and take shelter in an old church. Boomerang begins to ask what is going on, and she explains that it looks like Vic is a traitor. Their government-appointed supervisor is actually working for a particular group of those corporations. Vic has been acting strange ever since his return from Washington, and during the last mission, he was very concerned about the League destroying the refinery that they raided, which is also owned by Cavalry. So for now, the squad's just going to have to trust Amanda. Boomerang laughs. "Ha ha ha ha! We have to trust you? That's funny." But Amanda tells them, this is serious. That is why they went dark. Deadshot says, so we've effectively escaped. Why aren't our heads exploding? She says that she went ahead and disengaged them before the start of the mission. She was never going to give Vic the power to kill them. Everyone begins to look at Amanda and they begin to let the no neck bomb situation soak in. Then they jump from their seats and begin to beat down Amanda Waller. She jumps away and everyone begins to attack her on their own. She jumps over to Captain Boomerang, hitting him with her gun, telling everyone that why can't they see that she's the best thing to happen to them? What would they be without her? Boomerang says, "Our freedom, which is better than following your orders." So she continues to fire and Harley leaps into attack, but Amanda takes the candlestick Harley had and hits her in the head with it. Deadshot appears behind Amanda with a gun to her head, and she asks if he's sure that he can hit her from this distance. So he hits her in the back of the head and everyone gathers around her and they all begin to kick her. After a few minutes of kicking, Deadshot reaches down and grabs Amanda by the head and she asks them if they feel better now. And Deadshot tells her, almost. So she responds with, "Go ahead and kill yourselves." Deadshot begins to think about that for a minute and tells her, "What? No, I'm killing you." Amanda tells him it's the same thing. She didn't get rid of the bombs, she just synced it up to her pulse. So if she dies, they die. Amanda then begins to pick herself back up, telling them that if they help her stop Vic, she'll give them their freedom. She will set the squad free. Deadshot says, "Fine. What's the plan?" And Amanda tells him the plan is to do what she says when she says it. He rolls his eyes, stating, "Well, this is gonna be great." Back at Belle Reve though, Vic visits Manta in his cell, telling him that he needs his help. He might have something that he wants. Like Manta tells him, "There's nothing you could offer me that would interest me." And then Vic tells him, "Actually, I need your help destroying Amanda Waller." So he stands up and tells him, "Actually, that's something." Later, Amanda Waller flies the squad over to Dallas to get some information on the Cavalry Corporation so that they can bring Vic down, but to also see if there's anything that they can find to help return Parasite back to normal. Since he absorbed those drug addicts from the club, he's not been able to return to his normal self. Amanda and Deadshot will go and create a distraction and speak with the Cavalry CEO while Boomerang and Harley Quinn break into the labs. She then asks if everyone gets the plan, and everyone tells her yes, but Harley didn't seem very interested. They all get to Dallas and Boomerang begins to create the first part of the plan by driving a truck into the Cavalry Corporation building to drop off a specimen. The guard looks through his information and tells him that he actually doesn't see anything about deliveries coming in, and Boomerang asks him, "Are you sure? You should check that again." And then suddenly, there's a giant explosion. Inside of the building, some of the guards begin to escort the Cavalry CEO, Miss Pesta, to her office. That's when she shuts the door and she hears a voice telling her to sit down. She looks back to see Amanda Waller sitting in her desk with Deadshot aiming his gun at her. She tells Amanda that this is rather dramatic. You could have just set up an appointment. Over in the labs, Boomerang dodges the gunfire of the guards while Harley stands there distracted. He tackles into her asking, "What are you doing?" She tells him that she's done with this whole Suicide Squad stuff. It's getting boring and she's not having any fun. So he grabs her, telling her to quit being an emo teenager and help. So she pulls back, telling him that he can't tell her what to do. Boomerang says that's funny. He thought she liked it when men told her what to do. Then Harley punches him, telling him to shut up. And then she starts fighting off all of the guards, telling them all to shut up. Back in Miss Pesta's office, Amanda asks Miss Pesta why is it that she's trying to take down Task Force X, and she tells her that they've simply grown frustrated with their presence. They're ruining all of the deals that they have in the other countries. The problem is that Task Force X technically doesn't exist, so they have to handle it themselves by creating a team of metahumans. Creating that team, though, was harder than it seemed. They were not able to control them, as they could tell from the hero that they fought against in China. Amanda then asks, how did Vic Sage get involved in all of this? And Miss Pesta says that he is probably the reason that they found out that their company was even involved. Vic knew that working with Task Force X, he wouldn't be rather productive, so they reached out to him, and it turned out that they both wanted the same thing, to get rid of Task Force X and destroy Amanda Waller. So he came up with a plan to leak information out about Task Force X to one of the inmates. He would blame the leak on the inmate, avoiding any blame. And at the same, he would end the program and also end Amanda Waller's career. So everything in all of the videos that we've done up to this point has been a plan by Vic Sage and this corporation to get rid of Task Force X. Amanda asks why she's telling her all of this. She just admitted to conspiring to take down a government program. And Miss Pesta states that it's an illegal, secret government program. Besides, it's not like she doesn't have any evidence. Finally, Amanda asks what is it that she wants, and Miss Pesta states that she wants to put all of this behind them now. She'll give Amanda all of the evidence that pins all of the wrongdoings on Vic Sage, and just leave the corporation out of it. Back in the lab, Harley and Boomerang continue fighting off the guards while Parasite starts to crawl through, looking for something to absorb until he finds a giant server. He tries to absorb it, but nothing happens. So he takes up some of the wiring and he hooks himself directly to the server until he finally begins to feel the energy. He stands back up and releases a charge, and then he falls back to the ground. Boomerang looks at him and states, "That guy really does have a problem." So Amanda and Deadshot leave Miss Pesta's office, and Deadshot asks if they're really just gonna let her go. And Amanda states, "Oh, Miss Pesta's not going anywhere for now. Besides, we need to get back over to Belle Reve before Vic does something stupid." Back at the prison, Bonnie gets word of Black Manta's escape, and she begins trying to locate Vic, but no one seems to have seen him around. Down at the server room, Vic gives Black Manta the data on Task Force X and how Amanda Waller is the ringleader of this whole thing. So all Black Manta has to do is give this flash drive to his friends over at Cavalry Corporation. Before the plan can be put into motion, Vic begins to hear a voice telling him no, and when he turns around, he sees Bonnie. She asks Vic why he's doing all of this, and he states that what he's doing is the right thing. She can even come with him to the Cavalry Corporation. Bonnie still doesn't think that this whole thing is right, and Manta tells Vic to hurry up. So, Vic reaches into his coat and he tells Bonnie sorry, and then he shoots her in the chest. Bonnie falls to the ground, and before the two of them can leave, Vic hears another voice telling him that it's Amanda. She's outside with members of the FBI and has evidence of him planning to betray the United States government. They also know that he released Black Manta, so they can surrender themselves, or the police can come in and take Vic Sage and Black Manta by force. They have 5 minutes to comply. Inside, Black Manta slams Vic against a wall, telling him that he never should have trusted him, and Vic tells him not to worry. I have a plan. A few moments later, Amanda receives a radio call that all of the inmates have been released. Every prisoner in Belle Reve is on the loose. Amanda tells the men that they are going in. Their team's gonna handle the inmates, and her team will handle Vic. So they all begin to walk through the wards, not bothered by all the fighting, until Amanda finally reaches Vic Sage. Vic tries to escape through a vent, and Black Manta sees Amanda and tells her that enough of this sneaking stuff, he's just gonna kill her himself. Amanda calls out to the team to handle Black Manta while she handles Vic, so as the team engages Black Manta, he fires a spike through Deadshot's arm, and then he turns his attention to Harley Quinn and fires blasts at her, knocking her down to the ground. He then takes her knife and begins to stab her. Boomerang jumps in, but Black Manta quickly turns and punches him before he can land. Amanda then begins to punch Vic, but before she can land another hit, Black Manta grabs her by the neck and pulls her off. She tries to fight back, but Manta just hits her and holds her up by her neck, telling her that this all ends now. Deadshot leans up, fires one shot, and that shot goes through Manta's wrist. Amanda gets back up after falling to the ground, telling Deadshot nice shot, and Boomerang walks over to Black Manta, stepping on that newly injured wrist. He then puts a sharp boomerang in the hole, telling him that he's been looking forward to this ever since that beating that Black Manta gave him back in the Middle East. Soon the rest of the FBI make their way into the kitchen, and Amanda orders them to take everyone back into custody. Boomerang begins to shout out that you promised us our freedom, and Amanda tells him that was never actually on the table. You guys are murderers, come on. But with all of this over, where's Bonnie? As the days pass, Amanda attends Bonnie's funeral, and then she goes to see Deadshot. She asks why would he save her, and he says that he remembers something about if she dies, they're all going to die. She asks him, did you really believe that? And Deadshot says, just as much as she was gonna let them go, which wasn't much. But he did have a crazy dream. He was missing an arm, and everyone forgot about the Suicide Squad in these cells. And then Amanda showed up stating that they needed him for one last mission. The rest is blurry, but the dream made him feel useful. He's not really good at anything other than shooting people, and here, he can do that. They're all trapped in here for what they are. A hateful rage machine, a psychotic clown girl, or Captain Boomerang. But at least this place lets them be what they are some of the time. But if she is just like them here, she needs this place as much as they do, because this is all she's good for. She may not be locked up, but she can't leave. Because if not here, where else would all of them go? And that is the Suicide Squad. It concludes a storyline that's been going on with all the videos that we brought you involving Vic Sage, Amanda Waller, and all of that kind of stuff. And where are they gonna go next? Well, we're gonna have to tell you that next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this story arc of the Suicide Squad. It was the new Suicide Squad, which came around towards the end of the New 52. And now we have the Suicide Squad Rebirth. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian and Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you guys next time right here.